So I stumbled onto a study about squirting on Reddit today, and I just feel the need that we need to discuss it here on this channel because, squirting is kind of my thing. I don't know, but let's talk about it. Let's please, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. This is for YouTube, specifically. Reel it in. Discussing a scientific research paper, the results of it, and posing some questions. So I was scrolling on Reddit, and I just happened to come across this paper right here that was made about squirting. I am a squirter, so that's caught my attention. I start reading, and let's get into this right here. Like right in the very first part of this study, like where it says, it's saying how they collected the data. They're like, none of our participants in the study are sex workers, which I don't know how that would be relevant at all. But then also, okay, if you paid, like I see all the time, like little ads for like medical studies or whatever on Instagram, and like there's always some kind of cash offer. So you probably offered the participants cash and sought them out for their squirting services. So were they not sex workers? Well, anyways, the purpose of this study was to collect samples of the fluid that came out from these women that were squirting or whatever, and determine what it like consists of. So they actually emptied the participants' bladders and with the catheter, and then they gave them some kind of blue fluid in their bladder, and then the women, there were five of them, five women, they were able to make them squirt using various methods. And then they did mention that they had a lot of trouble collecting the fluid, but the fluid was indeed blue, meaning that there is at least some component of urine to what a squirt is. But then also they said that there was also a good amount of liquid from the Skene's gland, which is it's a gland near your urethra, and it produces like mucus. It's kind of like lubricant. They called it a female prostate. I don't know. Was not aware that women had prostates, but whatever. And as far as the statement that they had put in there about how they had all kind of trouble collecting the squirt fluid, okay, listen, that's kind of like my whole thing. If you have subscribed to my OnlyFans, you know. And what I do to collect my squirt fluid is that I have a gym mat that I put underneath my fuck machine that's waterproof. And yeah, I mean, that would have been an excellent way of collecting uh, the fluid, I guess. So I don't know. I think that they said it's somewhere else that was making reference to this study. I read in a comment that they like used towels and then like wrung out the towels. And it's like, what? I thought you guys were scientists. Like, what? That seems like the really hard way to go about things. Yeah. Then also, how did you find these people? Like, were you putting up like ads like on Instagram that said, "We need you if you're a squirter"? Um, and then how do you actually call them on it to make sure that it's actually genuine squirt and not like that they were just like, okay, yeah, let me get the stupid study thing out of the way, because how the fuck are you coming in probably what I'm assuming is a very scientific and sterile environment? Like, what were the conditions behind, like, I don't know. I have so many questions. But yes, the main point though is that squirting does contain an element of pee, but it's not entirely and exclusively pee. And I also know that after I have, I've squirted before, and I mean, after I do my cam shows or whatever, I will go and take a pee. Like, it's not entirely pee, is my point. So yeah, do with that what you will.